All right, well, let's, in fact, the man next to me is just checking his watch to see that's true. Peter McGuire joins us from XM. Peter, great to talk to you.
Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Ingrid.
All right, so I'm getting the sense you don't feel as though this is a foregone conclusion as far as the news out of the States. Of course, Joe Biden claimed that he has won the election. The consensus opinion is that is the case.
Well, absolutely, and that's what we're hearing as far as the media and just talking that through. And no doubt Biden's very much embracing the change. I think that where Trump is, he's a delicate individual. And I'm not sure how he's going to play that out.
Very politically correct way to say it.
It is, but he is delicate. I mean, I observe people's behaviour and I see who they've been linked with over their career. And I put my mind back to the 70s and certainly Roy Cohen and Trump's association with him and what he did as far as real estate deals across New York. He's a litigious sort of guy, Trump. And I'm not sure whether this is his ultimate trade as far as political power. I'm still jury's out in my mind whether he goes easily or he's going to really hit this hard.
It is a very different election, the way that, how many people voted and mail-in ballots, obviously,
of course,
in terms of just the amount of mail-in ballots
exactly,
that came
and
through.
the COVID numbers and so on.
But, likely the result could still come up the same, even with litigation. If
Sure.
it does, what's the next step? I mean, do we just ignore Trump and his commentary if the lawsuits, obviously, Biden comes out on top? Do we just ignore Trump and move on?
I think so.
It's somewhat irrelevant.
I think traditionally what we'll see is a reasonable uptick as far as equities. I don't think that market hiatus or any chance of a pullback from here is really going to play out. So I'd say it'll just stay, moving stronger for longer over the first, say, 3 to 6 months of next year. Going out from there, I'm not sure what COVID's going to do. I don't know where the Fed plays. I think there's too many other moving parts to really forecast any further out than there.
Yeah, but clearly the focus is the stimulus. Interesting that we had some jobs numbers out on Friday in the US, which were better than expected.
638.
Yeah. Is that sort of a bit of a hangover from the last stimulus, do you think?
I think it's just traditionally we're down from those million per month increases, and we're the numbers are now into the sixes and the low 7%. So the economy is growing. The US is really embracing, but we just heard that the 126,000 on Saturday. I saw that was 133,000 the day prior as far as COVID numbers for the nation. So we're no longer in the 60s to 70s. We're now approaching we're 160,000 a day.
Sorry, I was just going to say too, that also begs the question of, once Biden is in the White House, does he go for those widespread lockdowns, what the economic effect of that would be?
Well, it's going to be, I think, very, very tough, certainly for fourth quarter and certainly for first quarter next year. We're also in a winter period, so what does that do as far as demand destruction, GDP, and where does the Fed play? If he can't get anything through Congress, then the Fed's got to take a very, very positive action. Do they run through a negative interest rate? What do they do? Because
you almost think just following on from Andrew there, if we do see lockdowns reinstated, I guess you could say, in the United States. And Biden's obviously got his task force now. He said that fighting the virus was a key mandate for him being elected.
Yep.
So if they do go into lockdown again, what sort of stimulus do we need to see from the Fed? I mean, it's got to be mammoth, right?
It's got to be mammoth. And that's the only way they can do it. So maybe we go into negative territory.
So then do markets rally off the back of that?
Probably. That's where, and traditionally in these presidential, when you've got a new president, you get that really nice, sweetheart deal, a sugar hit for the first 3 to 6 months. That's why I'm not prepared to go further out to, mid next year. Where are we?
All right, let's talk oil, which is interesting in itself. Now, obviously, the speculation too about Biden in the White House, his energy
fracking,
policy,
green,
also the relationship with Venezuela and Iran, whether they'll ease those sanctions, that'll increase supply. Just talk us through what's been happening.
Well, the world's awash with oil, as we know, and it's been incredible trade since around about the 23rd of October. Just to take the viewers through, it's been very, very strongly bid up, the best part of 10 or 15%. Then it more or less capitulated from that point and really had a very, very solid nosedive. Then it rebounded to the upside, and now overnight it's fallen, Friday night, Saturday here, 4.5%. So that's not a good sign with those COVID numbers and demand destruction. So at the moment, it's really a very, very volatile market. Huge swings, and that's really what a trader's after.
So in terms of downside risk for oil, that seems to be the only direction it's going in.
Well, I think so. I can't see why you can't take a 35 handle out.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the new number. I said a couple of weeks ago, I can't see oil being back at that $60 to $70. That's why inflation's going to be fairly slow moving forward, because we haven't got that huge hit to the wallet and the purse as far as high oil prices.
Just quickly, has gold responded how you would have expected in this scenario of the election?
2 weeks ago, we said 1905 was the time to buy. It's now at 1951. Yes, there's more upside. We're only 4%, really, or 3% from an all-time high. So it's had a very strong rally, and I think that will continue. US dollar's been punched down.
Yeah, just on that. Yeah, so the dollar, where do you see that going then?
Probably through that 92. It's currently around that 92.5 US dollar index. So I think it'll be probably in the 91s, maybe sometime this month.
You know, I'm just interested, just before we go, because a lot of the talk prior to this election was a contested election is the absolute worst case scenario for markets. It hasn't played out that way yet. There's obviously still a long way to go.
It's only
right?
Sunday in the States.
So here's the question. Do you expect it to play out quite negatively for markets going forward, at least in the next couple of months, while this litigation takes place?
Is it negative for markets? I think it's uncertainty. I think it's volatility.
Yeah.
And, we're nearly at the end of the earnings season. What happens as far as fourth quarter earnings? Where does COVID play? There are still a lot of major themes that need to be played out, and of course, washing over that is litigation. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough time for traders.
All right. Well, you'll keep us posted.
I
every
promise
week,
you I
Peter.
will. See you, Andrew. See you, Ingrid.
Thanks, Peter.